Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshu Namupaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. Tattva Bodha, the essential knowledge, inquiry into truth. Tattva means essence, Bodha means knowledge. So in this class, we are studying the basics in this text, Tattva Bodha, Adi Shankaracharya. It is said to be given by Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya is covering the basics of Vedanta, all the concepts in Vedanta in this text. For a student who is interested to get into the vichara of the truth and ultimately attain the self. So he says this work is mainly for the students who have mumukshu, meaning those who have the ardent desire to liberate. So in the beginning, from the time we are born till the time we die, we are only seeking happiness. But in the beginning, we try to seek it externally. We try to seek it outside of us, and either in the material wealth or in acquiring or in enjoying of material wealth, or trying to get something in future. That is Artha, Kama, Dharma goals. Then we understand that the happiness pursuit has been going on for so many years and we have never succeeded. If at all we get only something temporary, but again it's gone. So therefore, how to get that real happiness that I'm looking for? The moment you think about it, then you turn introvert. And that persons, those set of people who have turned introvert, they seek the goal of moksha or liberation. So this text is meant for people who are seeking moksha after those fundamental understanding. That's what he says. Now, if you want to gain this knowledge, you have to first sit down quietly. The mind has to sit down quietly. It's difficult. The mind keeps roaming to the past and future, past, future. So to keep the mind in the present, you need certain qualifications. To gain those qualifications, or to the extent you have those qualifications, you can do the Atma Vichara, Tattva Vichara. Otherwise, the mind is still going here and there, so how can you do Vichara? Therefore, you have to have those qualities. He talked about them. Then he got on to inquiry about the truth. Then truth is defined as that which is existing in all periods of time as the same. Then when we inquire the experiences, nothing seems to be, going with this test. Then we say, how is it possible? I've been believing all these things to be real, but it is not standing up to the test of reality. So neither am I able to reject it as unreal. So the Shastra, the Guru says, you can't reject it as unreal because you are now experiencing it. Now can you completely accept it and function like you were functioning till now, as if it's Satyam, real? So then they introduce another word called Mithya. All this is mithya, relative reality. So that satyam is something that is always there. Then when you inquire, he says that satyam called atma in Sanskrit or consciousness, self in English. What is that? The moment you ask that, then he says it is beyond the three bodies, the gross, subtle, and causal bodies. It is beyond the three states of consciousness, namely waking, dream, deep sleep states of consciousness. It is beyond the five koshas, the pancha koshas, the five sheaths. Prana, five sheaths are food sheath, annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. These are the five koshas. It is even beyond these koshas. Then what is it? All this is from the negation point of view. All this it is not. All these are not standing up to the test of reality. It doesn't stand up to the test of reality. They are all part of mithya. All this has to be negated. When all this is negated, he says what remains? That assertion happens automatically after the negation. That which remains after everything is negated. That is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness. Ananda means bliss. So existence, consciousness, bliss, Swarupa. It is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. This is what he said. So we studied about gross body, subtle body, causal body. And then we studied about the three states of consciousness, the waking, dream, and deep sleep. And we have to now proceed with the five sheaths. It's called Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. These are the five koshas. Kosha means a sheath or a covering. Now, strictly speaking, Atma cannot be covered. Remember this. Grass cannot cover the subtle. It seems to be covering. Because when our abhimana, when our identification is fully with that particular sheath, then we are not aware of our true self. In that sense, it is covering. So Adi Shankaracharya beautifully gives the example in the Tattva Bodha. There's another text. In that text he says, like how the sun above is covered by clouds. Can the clouds really cover the sun? The clouds seemingly covers the sun from the angle in which you are looking at the sun, isn't it? The angle that you are looking at the sun, it seems the sun is covered by the clouds. Strictly speaking, clouds cannot cover the sun. Similarly, these are sheaths that cannot cover, but they are as if covering. Because when your abhimana, when your identification is fully with that particular sheath, whether it is food sheath or white layer sheath, or whatever sheath it may be, the awareness of Atma, the self, who you truly are, is gone. In that sense, it is covering. And you hear this word Maya, Maya, Maya. Maya means modifications. You understand? Maya. Annamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha. This Maya means modifications. Now let's get on to the text. I'll just share the screen with you all. Panchakosha ke Annamaya Pranamaya Manomaya Vijnanamaya Anandamaya cha iti Panchakosha ke. Panchakosha ke means what are Panchakoshas? What are the five sheaths? Annamayaha, Pranamayaha, Manomayaha, Vijnanamayaha, Anandamayaha. This is called five sheaths. So what are the five sheaths? They are food sheath, vital air sheath, mind sheath or mental sheath, then intellect sheath, intellectual sheath, then Anandamaya Kosha, which is what? Bliss sheath. These are the five sheaths. Annam means food. Prana are the vital air. Mind, mana. Vijnana, intellect. Ananda, bliss. All these are nothing but the same thing that we discussed before. From a different angle, the analysis is going on. Gross body, subtle body, and causal body, through which, when the consciousness functions, waking, dream, deep sleep. And this we have studied. Same thing is analyzing from a different angle, much more in detail. Gross body, Annamaya Kosha, then subtle body, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, then causal body, Anandamaya. So when we study all these things, like I said before, the very study brings objectivity. We understand, he's going to say this also, we are apart from all this, and as we study, analyze, means it's something outside, that's why we are analyzing it. So then that objectivity comes. Apart from that, since they are equipments, we have to use these equipments properly to attain the goal. So both detachment comes and proper usage comes. This is what we need to understand. A lot of people think, you develop detachment, then you become indifferent. No. When you really understand, you will develop detachment, not indifference. You will use these equipments properly, by properly understanding. That's why we are studying all this. Not just for our intellectual satisfaction. You get it? So, what are the five sheaths? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. These are the five sheaths. Then, Annamayakkaha, Annarasenaiva, Bhutva, Annarasenaiva, Vriddhim, Vriddhim Prapya, Annarupa Prithivyam, Yad Viliyate, Tat Annamayaha, Koshaha, Stula Shariram. What is saying? What is this Annamayakaha? Annamayakaha means, what is this Annamaya? I already told you. Maya means modification. Annamaya means the sheath that is nothing but the modification of food. That which is born from the essence of food. You understand? That is Annamaya. And it is, the food consumed by the parents, the father and the mother. It is what has produced this body. So that which is born from the essence of food. Then the food that is consumed by us, this body grows. Remember, already we studied about gross body, in which we said it goes through modifications. Right? So first it is born because of the food consumed by the parents. Then it grows because of the food consumed by you. Grows by the essence of food. Then when the body perishes, merges into the earth, it becomes food for the other species. And not only when the body dies, even now, so many bacteria, viruses, and all these are surviving. You understand? So it merges into earth. That which has come from earth goes back to earth. That which came from food goes back to food. This is the nature. Which is the nature of food is called the food sheath or the gross body. Which is the nature of food. It is all full of food only. You understand? This body is maintained by the food consumed by us. So now when we study this, it's very interesting actually, this whole thing when you go a little deeper. Though he is not mentioning all that here, just for our discussion I'm saying. So what is consumed? We have to be, aware of what we are consuming, how we are consuming. All that goes into the production of the children and all that goes into the maintenance of this body. And that's why we say you need to lead a certain lifestyle to, if you are following that particular goal. A lot of people ask, what kind of food should I eat? If I eat this food, will I become spiritual? It's not the other way around. Just by eating it. When you become sattvic, then you search for such food or get inclined towards such food. And such food may be conducive for the growth in your spiritual direction. A direct cause and effect you cannot establish. So therefore they say you maintain such lifestyle. Because this body is growing, maintained by the food consumed. You are producing children by the food consumed. So what type of food you consume, how you consume, all that importance comes because of that. Otherwise, end of the day, it is just flesh and bones, modification of flesh and bones. Why give too much importance to it? You understand? Not from that angle. So it merges into the earth. It goes back. So before it merges, as long as the consciousness is functioning through it, you take care of it. This is foot sheath or the gross body, stula shariram. This is stula shariram. Or gross body is what is called as food sheath, made up of food. It is the modification of food. And when our identification is with the gross body, we completely lose the awareness of Atma. Hence it's called sheath. It's very interesting. The scabbard, the sheath where the sword is kept, takes the shape of the sword. But it has no, connection to the sword. Similarly, when our consciousness is drawn away and identified with the gross body, it seemingly takes the shape of the gross body. I am this body, we keep thinking. But strictly speaking, just like how the scabbard the sheath cannot cover or affect the sword, it has no capacity to completely cover the Atma. But the Jiva, whose attention is completely drawn to the body, the consciousness has taken the shape of that body, as it were, has lost the awareness of Atma. He or she then starts thinking, I am this body. You understand? I completely think I am this body and I am totally unaware of my real self. This is called sheath, covering. So, strictly speaking, it cannot cover. It seemingly covers. When you insert the sword into the scabbard, there is no connection between the sword and the scabbard. Exactly like that. These are grahas. They cannot control the subtle Atma. They really do not affect. Even when you are thinking yourself to be this body, assuming yourself to be this body, this limited individual, nothing is happening to you. That something is happening to me is my imagination that is brought about by my identification. And that identification, when it is there, this imagination is brought about then along with it, so many other things come. All that is real. Please understand. All that is real. I've given an example in the class. If you are hypnotized and you are holding a cold charcoal, not hot, cold charcoal, and you are hypnotized to believe that the charcoal is becoming hot and the heat is slowly increasing. And as the heat increases, you will start feeling it in your palm, though you are only being hypnotized. Okay. And they say in psychology, when the heat becomes intolerable, you drop the charcoal. And when you are de-hypnotized, you will see a mark on your palm. So this is what is happening to us. Exactly like that. When we are, identifying with the body so much, we are hypnotizing ourselves, thinking that we are this body. And that covers the consciousness. And as a result, all the scars called the samsara, the imaginations continue. We go through. But even when all these things are going on, strictly speaking, the sheath, the Annamaya Kosha, the food sheath cannot control the Atma, control you. It doesn't taint you. You are thinking you are tainted. No, you are not tainted. You are going through imagination. When something happens to the body, I am suffering. It's happening to me. These are your imaginations because your identification is there. Are you with me? So now when we begin to understand this, then slowly, we can consciously identify, function and get out. That's all they are saying. Get in, use it, get out. Get in, use it, get out. That's how a completely enlightened person functions. As long as the prarabdha exists. So therefore, he says, this is Annamaya Kosha, which is the nature of food and is called the food sheath or the gross body. Then what is next? Next is Pranamaya Kosha. So he says, Pranamaya Kaha, Pranadhyaha, Panchavayavaha, Bhagadi Indriya Panchakam, Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kaha. What is Pranamaya Kosha? He says, this Pranamaya Kosha is the 5 physiological functions like prana. Like prana means prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. These are the 5 pranas. Along with that, he says Vagadi Indriya Panchakam. Vak is talking about the organ of speech. The organ of speech and the other 4 organs of action. Organ of speech is part of what? Organs of action. Karma Indriya. So all the 5 Karma Indriyas and the Pancha Pranas put together is Pranamaya Kosha. Now, after this, we are going to study about Maya, and we are going to study about Maya as Triguna Atmika, which has Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and from the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, this world is evolved. When he talks about all that, then you will see how he connects the pranas and the 5 organs of action into Pranamaya Kosha. Right? They are basically activity. So he says, the 5 physiological functions like prana and so on, and the 5 organs of action like speech and so on, together form the vital air sheath. Prana, breathing. You understand? That is very essential. This whole breathing is governed by this prana. Inhalation and the exhalation. And when you see, this is part of subtle body. Now, the pranas are the connection between the body and the mind intellect. You understand? So therefore, by controlling the pranas, you can take care of the physiological functions in the body, and also the controlling of pranas become conducive for the control of mind and intellect. Not intellect, mind, basically. So, if understanding this through the intellect, you bring about control of pranas, you will have all the physiological functions going on normally in your body. So therefore, if you do pranayama, control of pranas, that helps in the healthy living. And also, it is through the pranas the connection of mind happens with the body. So the thoughts are also thus, it is conducive for the thoughts to be controlled. So there is mental wellness also, not just the physical wellness, mental wellness as well. See, for the subtle body to express, the gross body is there. Now, if the gross body is conducive for certain negative, then negative will express. If gross body is conducive for the positive, positive will express. So that in that sense, pranayama exercise becomes very important. You understand? So all this he is not discussing. He is only saying. He doesn't get into all that. We are discussing. So prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, all these pancha pranas and the 5 organs of action put together is pranamaya kosha. So again, modifications of prana is pranamaya, and sheath means when your identification is with reference to any particular function, then you are unaware of the consciousness, atma within. So apana is that physiological function that is associated with evacuation, rejection, all that. And then vyana, circulation of blood and nourishment to the body, etc. Then udana shakti. This udana shakti is very interesting. This udana shakti is the reverse order functioning. Any vomiting, sneezing, tears, and at the time of death, you understand, it's very, very interesting. It is at the time of death, it is the udana shakti that powers the subtle body to leave the gross body. That is udana shakti. So, any reverse order functioning. Then comes samana, digestion. You understand? You are going on eating the whole day. That needs to be properly digested. That digest power, that functioning of digestion and assimilation is called samana. And vak. Vak means organs of action. See, all these are movements. You understand? Movement is associated with vayu, prana. And therefore he says, all this put together is pranamaya kosha. This is pranamaya kosha. So, it's modification of pranas. And when we identify with any of these particular functions, then we become unaware of the Atma. We lose ourselves. We completely, that it takes the shape of it. The consciousness takes the shape of it. It's very interesting, isn't it? Like the scabard is of the shape of the sword. The individual takes that shape when identification comes. That's all he says. These are the pancha pranas and pancha karmendriyas put together is pranamaya kosha. Then the next, what is manomaya kosha? Manomaya kosha kaha. Manomaya kosha kaha. Manascha jnanendriya panchakam militva yo bhavati sa manomaya kosha. This again is very interesting. He will use the pancha jnanendriyas as part of both the manomaya kosha and the vijnanamaya kosha. So what he's saying is, what is manomaya kosha? What is manomaya kosha? The mind and the five organs of perception together form the mental sheath. They together form the mental sheath. It consists of the mind and the organs of perception. That is manomaya kosha. Now, what is mind? What is intellect? Because next we are going to study about vijnanamaya kosha. So we get this doubt. Both are nothing but thoughts. When your thoughts are indiscriminate in nature, you understand? Sankalpa vikalpatmakam mana, they say. The mind is going on, this or that, this or that, this or that. That is called mind. That set of thoughts are called mind. When your thoughts are discriminate, nishcham, then it is intellect. So indiscriminate thought flow, discriminate thought flow. Okay. This indiscriminate thought flow is called mind, and the mind is associated with the organs of perception, not only the mind, even the intellect, because that is from which the information is received. You understand? When the action is done, the intellect directs the organ of action to act. But where does the receipt happen? Into the mind and the intellect, the five organs of perception. Therefore, he says, the mind and the five organs of perception together form the mental sheath. Mind is the seat of emotions, desires, likes, dislikes, impulses. So, this is the mind. And it is connected with the five organs of perception called jnana indriyas. See, the thought and the information is connected. Therefore, he says this is manomaya kosha. Then what is it? Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya kaha buddhi jnanendriya panchakam militva yo bhavati saha vijnanamaya kosha. What is vijnanamaya? The intellect and the five organs of perception together is the intellect sheath. Together is the intellect sheath. It is subtle and it pervades the former three sheaths. See, intellect is subtler than the mind. Mind is subtler than the pranas. Pranas are subtler than the gross body, the foot sheath. So it controls the three. Subtle controls the gross. Gross doesn't control the subtle. It constitutes the intellect and the five organs of perception. The five senses are common to both the mind and the intellect sheaths, as perception involves both mind and intellect. Can there be perception without mind and intellect? Not possible. Can there be action without pranas? Not possible. Therefore, actions were combined with pranas. Perceptions are combined with mind and intellect. So, please understand this. So, what is manomaya kosha? Mind sheath means mind plus five organs of perception. What is intellect sheath? Intellect plus five organs of perception. What is pranamaya kosha? Five pranas plus five organs of action. Now total kitna hua? Total kitna hua? Don't say 22. Total is how much? What are the total subtle body? We studied already. How many? 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas, mind, intellect, 17. The same 17, what happens is the 5 pranas and 5 organs of action clubbed together, 10. Then 5 organs of perception plus mind, mind, plus intellect, intellect. Therefore, the total is 17 only. It's not 22. This is 6, that is 6, and then another 10. Don't think like that. It is 17 only. Don't get confused. When the consciousness functions through the indiscriminate thought flow associated with the organs of perception, it takes the form of mind. When the consciousness functions with the discriminate thought flow associated with 5 organs of perception, it takes the form of intellect. When consciousness functions through the 5 pranas and 5 organs of action, it takes the form of white layer sheath. And when consciousness functions through the food sheath, it takes the form of food sheath. We lose the awareness of Atma as it were, the consciousness as it were, our real nature. Therefore, it's called a sheath. Isn't it? I'm getting the information. I think I'm intelligent. I've done this, taken right decisions. All this we get involved. It gets involved both in the mind and the in the world. End of the day, emotions and thoughts. So you become the body, you become the emotions, you become the thoughts. This is what is happening. This is how they cover. Now, we must understand that this is subtler than the mind, which means what? It can control the mind. Mind is subtler than the pranas. So mind can control the pranas. You understand? Pranas are subtler than the body. So pranas can control the body. So by understanding all this, we should use to control and lead a healthy life, both physically and mentally, so that we can use this equipment to pursue the goal of moksha. So those who pursue the goal of moksha, they don't become indifferent. They become more responsible. That's the point we need to understand. Because this again and again I'm mentioning, a lot of people say, this fellow has gone into spirituality. So they will neglect. There is no neglection possible. We are studying all this. This is what we need to understand. They involve both. You understand detachment as well as you will become responsible. So detachment and responsibility go together. You understand? In sattva, detachment, responsibility go together. In rajas, maybe there is responsibility but coupled with sense of indispensability. In tamas, it is indifference. Complete indifference. So people think it is indifference. It's not indifference. It is detachment that you develop when you gain this knowledge. So we have seen Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then next is Anandamaya Kaha, Evameva, Karana Sharira Bhuta, Avidyastam, Malinasatvam, Priyadivritti Sahitam, Sat, Anandamaya Kosha, Esha Etat Kosha Panchakam. What is Anandamaya Kosha? It says established in ignorance. Established in ignorance. That is Anandamaya Kosha. Which is of the form of the causal body. Right? Karana Sharira. Of impure nature. United with thoughts like Priya, etc. is the bliss sheath. These are the 5 sheaths. So this Anandamaya Kosha, see, when the consciousness is functioning only through Anandamaya Kosha, we are a deep sleeper. When it functions through the subtle body, the prana and then mind and intellect, we are deep dreamer. Then when it functions through the gross body, we are weaker. We already studied this. And when we talked about Anandamaya, we said it is the cause. This is ignorance. It is established in ignorance. And one more thing we studied about Anandamaya Kosha, deep sleep. What is that? Ignorance and bliss. You understand? Because the thoughts are in its nascent form. Only when the thoughts manifest, agitations come. When the thoughts are in its nascent form, we are in bliss. And in the waking state, whenever we are experiencing any joy, you understand? Any joy, we are actually in Anandamaya Kosha. Because what is happening? There is a desire that brings the agitation. Okay? There is a desire that brings the agitation. Now, when you see the object that you desire, that itself gives some joy. Isn't it? Because to that extent, the agitation is reduced. When you actually acquire it, get it, then the ananda increases because agitation is subsided a lot more. And when you actually experience it, the agitation is completely subsided. Isn't it? The agitation is completely subsided. And this is what is called as Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Priya, etc. is this. With thoughts like Priya, etc. What does it mean? It means what? In the waking state itself, whenever you are experiencing, you are actually experiencing the bliss of the self. This is the point. But you are unaware, you are in ignorance. You are temporarily in Anandamaya Kosha. So established in ignorance is the form of causal body, impure nature, malina sattvam is this. Now this malina sattvam is another thing we need to understand. See, every human mind is made up of sattva, rajas, tamas. Tamas is what? Power of inertia. That is tamas. Rajas is power to act. Action. Then sattva is the power to know. So power of inertia, power of action, power of knowledge. Put it like that. Now, when in life what happens? Sometimes sattva predominates over rajas and tamas. Sometimes rajas predominates over tamas and sattva. Sometimes tamas predominates over rajas and sattva. At night, when you are in deep sleep, tamas is predominated over sattva and rajas. You understand? So, he says, malina sattva. In this, the awareness, the sattva is malina, impure. Malina sattva means the awareness is not there. When you are in sattva, tremendous awareness is there. Isn't it? The knowing, knowledge is there. And in deep sleep, it's not there. When you wake up, then you say, yes, I experienced bliss. But when you are in it, you are in ignorance. So, in the waking state itself, when we desire, so in fact, deep sleep is called as Anandamaya Kosha because the thoughts are in nascent form. Only when the thoughts manifest as desires, then there is agitation. Okay. So in deep sleep, in causal body, we are in Ananda only. But we are in ignorance. Therefore, we do not know that is our real nature. And the same thing is happening in the waking state also. When the thought of any object comes, and when we have darshana of that object, when I see something that I like, something that I desire, then to that extent I get ananda. because to that extent the agitation reduces. And when I'm not sure whether I'll even see it or get it, you know, you want to see your children or grandchildren. Nowadays you have this video call facility, like we are doing this class also. So you see, seeing itself, you get some bliss because to that extent agitation is reduced. But you are in ignorance. Then again, when you actually get the object, that acquisition, lobha, that itself brings ananda. When you really experience it, you put the chocolate in your mouth and say, what is that? You're in bliss because the thoughts have temporarily subsided because you've given the object of the enjoyment to the body, to the subtle body also. So temporarily it subsides. Then the Atma, the bliss of Atma is expressing, but you are not aware. But actually what you are enjoying is Atma. It is reflected, that's all. That is what we need to understand. All enjoyments, bliss, is the bliss of the self. Like when you see the light, the sunlight is reflected through the moon. And you think it is coming from the moon. But actually it is the sun's light. Isn't it? It's the light of the sun that is reflected through the moon. Similarly, the Ananda of the Atma is reflected through the mind and the body. And we think it is coming from that object. Therefore, we continue desiring it more and more and more. And then we get caught, we get trapped in this running, acquiring, enjoying. Running, acquiring, enjoying. Running, acquiring, enjoying. This is called samsara. So, what is happening is we are running to acquire, to find happiness. The same thing will become reversed when you gain this understanding, and when this understanding becomes your own, when you realize the self, it's total. What happens then? Then you don't run to find happiness. Then you'll use your equipments you will direct them, and you will direct them out of happiness. There's an ocean of difference. Today you don't understand that the bliss is within, and all the bliss you're experiencing temporarily through all the contacts in the waking state is actually the bliss of the self. But when you're experiencing it, you're in Anandamaya Kosha, temporarily. Whether it is Priya or Moda or Pramoda. Is this clear? Therefore, we are running again and again and again. Dil mange more. Going on asking for more and more and more. And we get trapped. And the more ignorant we are, we continue. It causes us to run. It causes us to take birth. And when the body becomes unconducive for expressing it anymore, we give up this body and take up another body. That's why this is called causal body. The form of causal body. Karana Shariram. It causes. You understand? That's all he's saying. So established in ignorance, which is of the form of the causal body, of impure nature, malina sattvam. By predominating over sattva and rajas, tamas prevails. And when tamas prevails, awareness is not there. That's the point. The awareness is there and you'll know that it's my bliss. Another interesting example in Vedanta they give of the dog, eating the dry bone. The dog is hungry. It's eating a dry bone. There's nothing in it. and the going on chewing that, and the bone gets stuck to the upper jaw. And then the dog is bleeding. Dog is thinking that the blood taste is coming from the bone and it bites it more. So, like that, we are also doing. We think it's coming from the world outside. It is coming from within. It's coming from outside, we think. And therefore, we are running outside. And every time you are running outside, you get a taste of it, just a taste of it. And those who understand, they say, Arey Baba, if this taste itself is so nice, what about the source? How much more it will be? So let me go to that. Saint Tyagaraya sings a beautiful song. Iti chala sukama, Ramudi sannadi sevaka sukama. Means what? Iti chala sukama. Is this great bliss, sukam, or having the darshan of Rama, Ramudi sannati sevaka sukama. Getting closer to Rama. The closest is becoming one with Rama. Which is sukam. For us who don't know anything about Rama Sannidhi, we will be interested in Kama only. So those who understand this, from Kama they go to Rama. This is coming from within only. Like the dog's bone example. So once I understand this, and I will not unnecessarily go externally. And the moment my mind stops going outwardly, calmness prevails. You understand? Serenity comes. So by studying all this is what we have to understand. So what is Anandamaya? Why do we have to study bliss sheep? Studying about it, what will happen? If you study this correctly, this will happen. Unnecessarily running will not happen. And you understand that this is the cause of my birth into all these various experiences. So then, if this is cut, then that will be cut. So when completely all your vasanas are gone, there is no more birth. That's all he says. So therefore, Anandamaya Kosha also is done. We have studied Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Now in the next thing he says, why you are not all this? That he talks about in the next one. Madiyam Shariram, Madiya Pranaha, Madiyam Manascha, Madiya Buddhihi, Madiyam Ajnanamiti, Svenaiva Nyayate, Tadyata, Madiyatvena Jnatam, Kataka Kundala, Grihadikam, Swasmat Bhinnam, Tata Panchakoshadikam, Swasmat Bhinnam, Madiyatvena, Jnatamatma na bhavati, Jnatam Atma na bhavati. So, all he's saying, see, those who have studied Vedanta treatise will understand all these things very easily. But this is a beautiful text. From this only, and that's why I'm saying, Swamiji has written, he himself says this, written the book Vedanta treatise, following the fundamental principle of education to move from the known to the unknown. And he has taken the gist of so many books and has put us in that one book form. For our sake, even that we find very difficult to read. Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, bhagavadgita, bhagavadgita, Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, and all that. You read Vedanta treatise properly. That one book is enough. So, he's saying here, just as bangles, earrings, house, etc., known as mine, you understand, are all other than the knower, me. So too the 5 sheets, and so on, are known by oneself. And so on means cross body, subtle body, causal body, the three states of consciousness, my body, my mind, my intellect, and my ignorance are different from me and are therefore not the self. When you say my, means it belongs to you. It's not you. It belongs to you. Like you say, my pen. My pen means I am different from the pen. Pen belongs to me. I am not the pen. Pen is my possession. Similarly, when I say my gross body, my subtle body, my causal body, prana, apana, samana, vyana, uda, whatever, all these my means what? I am different from all this. When you sit down and quietly analyze, oh, I am different from all this. How can I be this and then say my also? You are saying my sometimes. Then later on, you say that's me. Because what has happened? Your identification with it has become too much. So now the sheath is overpowering you. So then you have taken that shape itself. You understand? Water has no shape. You put it in a particular vessel, it takes that shape. So consciousness has no shape or form. You have taken that shape or form according to where your identification is. If you go on identifying with negative things, your shape will take of that negative thing. You consciously withdraw from it and start identifying with the positive. It will start taking that shape. You are your own architect. So therefore he says, you are wearing bangles, earrings, living in a house. You say all these are mine. They belong to me. They are not me. They are mine. They are not me. Similarly, this body, this mind, this intellect, all this you are possessing, you're living in it. That's not you. They're all your belongings. They're all your instruments to be used. They are not you. Like going on thinking that you are that, you are that, you are that. You take that shape and you become that now. And when you become that, obviously samsara will be there. They'll go through affectations and you think you are going through affectation. But even when you think you're going through all these affectations, you are not going through any affectations. So therefore, you are not any of this. You are apart from these things. You are beyond all this. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.